Welcome back, everybody. So as you know, this is the fifth and final interview in my week-long series celebrating International Women's Day. And today I have the gorgeous Emma, and we are going to be talking about the trials, tribulations, and all of the highs and lows that's involved in raising gorgeous, strong, independent young girls in a world that is constantly bombarding everybody with false images of body and the challenges in actually trying to buy age-appropriate intimate apparel. So I've got gorgeous Emma that's going to talk about her experiences, and she's also going to be talking about what she does in terms of business. So if anyone wants to add an additional income to to their household income and also learn something new and introduce great products, stay tuned, because Emma's going to walk us through what she does and how you can get involved in building a business and having an additional income. So I'm going to get gorgeous Emma to introduce herself. Off you go, Emma.
Hi there. My name's Emma. It's lovely to be on with you, Sue. Thank you for inviting me. So I am a mum of two daughters. So my youngest is coming up to that age now that we've been talking about with the looking at all the underwear, and she's coming up to 10. I'm originally from Essex. I actually live in Kent now, and I work my business from home, so I love it. I get real flexibility that I can kind of be the mum but also be the businesswoman as well,
which is so important, because I know that for myself, I do a lot of what I do from home as well, and it's just great to be at home. You can be a mum as well as doing all of the fabulous things that we do in running business. So you touched briefly on the fact that one of your girls is at that stage now, that amazing stage of development. So what I would like to know from you and your thoughts and stories is, how challenging have you found it in terms of finding age-appropriate underwear and the offerings that are available? Do you think there's enough out there for mums like you and I to be able to leave the shop or to go online and find age-appropriate underwear?
Well, it's kind of a new area to me at the moment now. We're kind of at that stage where we need to have a look, especially now coming out of lockdown, we're going to be able to get to the shops, which is going to make an amazing difference. And I suppose you don't really realise that it's just, you think it's the big brands and retailers that are there. So to be honest, I wouldn't really know where else to look, first of all.
And it's
so
funny. It's funny that you say that, because that's how I felt when I had Geneva, when we got into this whole world, and we really didn't find enough offering for her. So obviously we set up Sugar Plum. But what I'd like to know from you is, how would you compare what's on offer now versus what it was like when you and I went through the teenage years, if you will? Because for me personally, I don't have any point of reference to say, oh, I popped, my mum took me down to the Army and Navy when the Army and Navy was still available. Or,
this is 10 years ago, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly.
You're only 21.
21 people. We're only 21. We had our girls really early. So I don't have any point of reference of ever going to Army and Navy, or if you remember when C&A was still a shop. So I don't have any point of reference. So it'd be interesting to know what it was like for you and how the offering was available then versus now.
I would say really similar to you, Sue, really similar. C&A was one of my mum's favourites as well, for sure. M&S. But I don't remember it, to be honest, in one of those. And I don't think at that time we probably had much say in it either. I think like the kids grow up a lot quicker now. And they've got a stronger idea of what they want and what they don't want, where we probably just were happy being told.
Yeah, where to go. And moving on from that, how difficult do you, or if at all, do you find it difficult now in this current climate that we're in, raising teenage girls, particularly trying to get them not to have that additional pressure with all of the images from, you know, celebrities, reality TV stars, and everything that's currently going on with social media? Do you find it harder to just try and keep them grounded and for them to have that confidence within themselves?
Yeah, definitely. And that's, I think, the key is giving them that confidence so that they see or they realise that it's not all real.
Yeah.
And they kind of know that already, so they're not brainwashed by that. And there's always, the social media is just the shop window of somebody, isn't it? It's not the real thing. So yeah, just letting them know that they're, as long as they've got key values, I think, like things like being kind, thinking of other people, and all those kinds of, so they can see right and wrong, they can make their own decisions. They know social media is there, but they take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. And yeah.
Are you having those sort of conversations now, or have you always been the sort of mum that, look, I'm just going to keep it real with you, what you see on the screen or in the magazine? Because of course, you know, when you and I were growing up, we had magazines like Smash Hits, for example. And it wasn't the way magazines are now, because I feel as though a lot of print press has now become digital. So our girls and teenagers in general are being exposed to a lot more imagery and content that perhaps we weren't. So are you having those conversations in that this is not real? Okay.
Yeah, completely. Especially with my youngest. I mean, my oldest is kind of, she understands more of social media and she's kind of comfortable and knows what's real and what's not. Absolutely. For sure. But the youngest one is new. She's not really on social media. She loves TikTok, but only in like a private account way. She's definitely not out there for the world to see, if you like. So she's exploring it in that way, and it's things like letting them know you need to keep your accounts private. Yes. And you need it for like a safety point of view. And do you know what, actually they're taught a lot at school as well about internet security and safety as well, which is good.
Actually, that's a really interesting point that you raised, because I suppose within the context of shopping for intimate apparel and everything else, and talking about body confidence and the changes that happen within their bodies, do you find that the information is also synced as well, or the information is being presented in a really clear, concise manner at school?
What, in terms of the internet, you mean?
Yeah, the internet, and also about body image and everything else. Do you feel as though that what's being taught at school, because I think the subject is PS,
yeah, PSHE
or something like that, yeah.
Do you feel
as though that sex education, cyber bullying, you know, internet safety, and online bullying, and all of the various things that actually teenagers have to grapple with, that we didn't have to deal with? Do you feel as though that the school are on board and they're actually giving enough information, enough support, so that we as parents, we can also either add to or back up that information that's being taught at school?
Yeah, I do actually. I think more so now, because I've got quite an age gap. I've got 6.5-year age gap. So just the difference probably in those years. So now with the youngest coming through, it's probably even more so apparent that they've got a better understanding at their age now. Fantastic. Of kind of the scary things out there, and she knows things aren't always real. People aren't what they seem, and they're always teaching them about being safe. And even when they're doing their work in lockdown on Zoom or if you're talking with the teacher, they're very hot on, there's got to be somebody else in the room with them. And if they're one-to-one with the teacher, so they're very security conscious and following the right processes.
That's really, really good. And so we've discussed what it was like for you and I, and also the lack of choices and the shops that have been and gone. Because actually, I remember Woolworths. They had like a little.
I loved Woolworths.
I know.
Dressing up clothes for Woolworths' speciality.
And their pick and mix. You mustn't forget the pick and
mix.
Well.
I think we had every Woolworths princess outfit in our house.
I did as well with Ori, because she was really big into fancy dress and everything. So, oh, how times have changed. Oh, how times have changed. And so do you feel as though, especially your youngest, is she quite a confident, outgoing little girl? Well, I don't like to use that word little girl, because I don't feel
feisty.
Yes,
feisty is the word. Yes. God help her future husband.
Being feisty, I think that's a really great trait, because it means that she is, she has her own mind, and she's more likely to be a leader than a follower, and less likely to be influenced by those, by her friendship group. So I think that's a really, really great trait. And is that something that she got from you or your partner, in that she's very self-assured within herself?
I don't know really where it's come from, because yeah, she can be very kind of confident, but then she's quite a performer, but then at the same time she can be quite anxious. I don't know, but definitely a feistiness and kind of a strength, but at the same time she'll be the first one that says, "How was your day, mummy?" She's very thoughtful and very, I know, it's quite sweet. So I think all you can do is kind of give them that all-rounded, let them know they can achieve anything and set a good example for them.
Exactly.
And if they see you working and achieving things, then you've got to just lead by example, haven't you?
And that's a great little segue into us talking about your business. So tell us a bit about what you do. I like the fact that you did mention the fact that you're leading by example. And so once you talk about what it is that you do in your business, I'd like you to mention briefly like how important it is for you that your girls see you being such a strong, independent, business-minded mum. But before we get into that, tell us a bit about what it is that you do from home.
Well, I work alongside a global health and wellness brand, working from home, which is amazing because I can kind of be the mum as well. And I love it because it's flexible. I can work around them. I get to choose my hours. And I work with some amazing, positive, like-minded people as well. So you know what it's like. Yeah. That just makes such a difference. We've also really benefited as a family from the products that are part of the business. So our health, our wellness, sort of a strong immune system, which has been amazing, sort of your skin, everything. So we've all benefited from those and continue to do that. But what I love about it as well is helping other people. So you help people by recommending our amazing products, but also as well is coaching other like-minded people to also be able to earn an additional income from home as well around their families or their other jobs or whatever it is. Everyone's circumstances is changing a lot at the moment, aren't they?
Absolutely. And within the business, what inspired you to get involved? Did somebody introduce you, or was it a case of, you know what, I want to spend more time at home, just as you mentioned, and I want to be an ever-present mum? Because I think for a lot of women, particularly as this weekend is International Women's Day, a lot of women may feel that having a career, having a business maybe it's almost as though they're making sacrifices, so you can't do both. Essentially, you can't have a successful business such as yourself and you equally won't be able to have that time to, you know, raise your kids and be as present for you. So was that one of the factors that that you took on board when you started your business?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. The fact that I could work around them, I could choose my hours, as I said. What you realise, I think, the time goes really, really quick. Like before you know it, they're whatever age, and if you blink, you miss it. So I think you do really evaluate what you're doing, and is there a balance, and are you there really? So I could see a way that I could work and be there for them as well.
That's fantastic. And so talk to us or walk us through, if at all, have you experienced any challenges, what with COVID going on, and how have you been able to overcome, if at all you've had any challenges?
Okay, I mean, yeah, COVID is, you see, it's affected everybody, hasn't it? From all around the world. As far as our business is concerned, we've been really lucky. We produce all our own products. Yeah. So our stocks have remained there. We've still kept all our deliveries. Our business is all over the world. It's in 160 countries, and it's continued to, yeah, which is really, really, really good. So we can still basically get our products to our customers. So our customers are always the centre of what we do, and we can still look after them. So that's the most important thing. But also we've seen an increase in people wanting to look for other opportunities to be able to work from home.
Yes.
Whether it's to top up what they're doing, or maybe they couldn't work in their normal job at the moment, so their industry's been affected.
Yeah.
And it's just giving them a little bit of a lifeline then, and they can make choices then as things start to pick up again, of what they're going to do.
Fantastic. And how long have you been in business now? Was it recently, or it's been a few years?
I've worked alongside the company now for a couple of years. Yeah, and I love it. It's really, as I said, we've benefited in all areas, from health wise, as well as sort of the being present, really, being there for your family.
Oh, and you know what? I'm so glad that that you're sharing this, because, as I said, I think for a lot of women, I don't necessarily think that they have to necessarily make those difficult home life, you know, trying to balance home life and work balance. And as you say, a lot of industries and a lot of people have actually been affected by COVID, whether the company has been shut down, or they themselves have been made redundant, or they're suffering from the after effects of suffering from COVID, and they're just in the best health shape to actually return to work. So a business like yours will be absolutely brilliant for them. So before we sort of like round up, what advice would you give to anyone wanting to start a business from home, and how can anybody reach you so that they can have a really good discussion, and for you to just, you know, give them a bit more detail as to, you know, what it is that you do and how to get started?
Okay, well, I would definitely say, if you're looking to start something yourself, I would explore all the options. So think about what you're good at yourself, what you enjoy, what you like doing, and explore them, because there is so many opportunities, particularly for women around families now. So many options. I mean, working under the global brand that we work alongside is amazing, because everything is in place. So it's a real kind of stress-free startup, if that makes sense. So I would just say, get in touch, and I'd love to have a chat with anybody who wants to hear a little bit more, and find out a bit more about them, to see if it's the right fit, because obviously everything is not the right fit for everybody. And just explore, find out a little bit more, and see if it's something that I can help them with. So you can reach me, probably the easiest way is by email, emma4c@hotmail.com, but I know Sue's going to share all my details. But yeah, I'd love to chat. So thank you for having me, Sue.
Thank you so much. And as I said, I am going to leave all of Emma's details in the description box, all of her handles. I think I'm able to do hyperlinks as well. So you're not having to physically copy and paste. So I'll try and figure out how to do the hyperlinks.
Okay.
I think one thing that Emma didn't mention, but I do, or I would like to mention before we close today's episode, as with all businesses, it's not a quick rich scheme. You have to put in the work and the effort and the hours, but they're good hours when, just as Emma has mentioned, if it's a good fit for you, then it's something that will definitely help you, and more importantly, give you that freedom to be at home with your family, and also, you know, to be able to do other things other than, you know, worrying about an additional income. So yeah, so please, 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 guys, get involved, contact Emma. I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to leave all of her details in the description box. And if there's anything that we haven't covered, or we've missed out anything in relation to this particular episode, you know, you can always get in contact with me. But for now, thank you so much, Emma, for appearing on my podcast and my YouTube channel. It means
Thank you for having me.
To me. I really appreciate you. Guys, thank you so much for being with me this week. I hope you've enjoyed everyone's story that I've shared. I hope that you can also take inspiration, reach out to all of my guests. I've left all of their details on each of their episodes. And guys, remember, be great because you are. Bye.
Thank you.